Big changes, hot streaks, and cold collapses. The Scroll of Wisdom reveals the top 10 teams of the week, as well as a few that have dropped out and some that are on the rise. The Scroll gives a formula for each of these two dropout teams to get back into the top 10. First of all, the Philadelphia Phillies. Look, they're 1-9 in their last 10 games, and they just got swept by the Pirates. Bryce Harper is hurt. We're not going to celebrate that. But as a Mets fan, I am certainly reveling in the Phillies struggling right now. They have to find a spark somewhere and soon before they fall out of not only the NL East race, but the NL wildcard race altogether. Their hitting hope is Trey Turner and Nick Castellanos. They need to take the lead. And Alec Boehm also looks to be breaking out over the past week. So maybe they can find a way to right the ship quickly. Their pitching hope, Ranger Suarez, must continue to anchor this staff. He's 4-1 with a 1.01 whip and a 1.36 ERA over his last 6 starts. The schedule, though, is about to get harder with series coming up against the Cubs and the Blue Jays. The other team falling out is the Cleveland Guardians. They lost both their series this week, of course, as soon as I put them in the top 10. They lost series to both the Yankees and the Astros. The AL Central as a whole is losing steam as a division, and the AL honestly appears to be just a little bit weaker than the National League. They are essentially the San Francisco Giants of the American League. They're an above-average team that is also highly streaky, and so they're going to have some good runs and some bad runs. Unfortunately for them, they're just kind of on a bit of a bad run right now. They're hitting hope. Well, Stephen Kwan is hitting over 300 this week, but the real hitting star, Jose Ramirez, he's on fire overall. He's hitting 429 with 3 home runs over the last 2 weeks. Their pitching hope, Tanner Bibby. He is a workhorse. He's averaging almost 7 innings per start over the past month, giving them that length that you want from your starting staff. The Reds and the Mariners series are coming up this week, and it does give them a good chance to get back on track with two teams that have had less than stellar seasons so far. Before we head to our honorable mentions, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and we could absolutely use your help. Honorable mentions. The Scroll says these teams are on runs that other people might be overlooking, even though they're not quite ready for the top 10. First, we have the Baltimore Orioles. We did a full breakdown of this team on our 3 up and 3 down video last week, but here's a Cliff's Notes version. Their climb to relevancy is nearly impossible. They dug a huge hole, but they do have the talent and the hunger of a bunch of young players to possibly do it. The pitching has to step up to take pressure off the bats. Now, what are we seeing in them? Well, they are 7-3 in their last 10. However, they're still kind of struggling to find their footing because they did not take advantage of the series this weekend against the Athletics. Their hitting hope is Adley Rutschman right now. He had over 400 this week. And Dylan Carlson has also been an RBI machine as of late. Their pitching hope, well, Felix Bautista, he is closing games well. He has 5 saves and has only given up 1 earned run since May 21st. If they can be over 500 this week in their 2 series, or actually over the next 2 weeks in their series coming up against the Tigers, Angels, Rays, and Yankees, maybe they'll be able to hang around and not be sellers at the deadline. Honorable mention number 2 is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yes, we mentioned them, and honestly, this is mostly on the strength of a sweep of the Phillies, who are struggling right now. And I get it, the Phillies are playing bad baseball, but it is a sweep of the in-state rivals, and as a Mets fan, it makes me happy. And seriously, when will we ever have another chance to mention the Pirates again this year in the top 10 Scroll of Wisdom context? Probably not. Their hitting hope, Brian Reynolds, needs to continue to be a solid veteran leader as he has been this year, but O'Neal Cruz really must wake up soon. They are relying on him to be kind of that star from the hitting side. Their pitching hope, well, it's Paul Skeens, of course. He has a .85 ERA with a .71 whip over his last 6 starts, and in those last 6 starts, he's got 1 win and 2 losses. This is DeGrom territory of low run support, as many of you Mets fans may remember. They are wasting peak Skeens, and it is sad to watch. I've seen this movie before, and it's just not fun. They have 3 games against the Marlins coming up to keep the momentum rolling before they go on a road trip to the Cubs and the Tigers. So yeah, this run could be short-lived by the Pirates, but we're still going to celebrate a sweep of the Phillies nonetheless. Lastly, the honorable mention is the Cincinnati Reds. Similar to the Pirates, they get a shout out for an unexpected sweep this weekend versus the Diamondbacks. They got back to 500 on the season, which again, at this point in time in the year when you're kind of one of those mid-range teams, if you can be at or around 500, it's not bad at all. They're hitting hope. Well, a lot rides on Ellie. He is the team's home run leader, but he also hit under 200 this week, and he only has 5 steals in the past month. So similar to O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz needs to kind of find his hitting footing here once again. They're pitching hope. Well, I'm probably supposed to say Hunter Green here, and he is pitching really well. But Andrew Abbott has been pitching lights out the last month with 28 strikeouts and a .98 whip. At the Guardians and Tigers are super tough tests. They're probably going to fail. But if somehow they are still 500 or better by next Sunday, then maybe they can be the next NL Central team to go on a run. All right, now we are here to the Scroll of Wisdom. The Scrolls have spoken, and there are 10 who remain. In the Scroll of Wisdom at number 10, the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, there's a bunch of teams that you could put in this number 10 spot. I debated with a lot of these. The Brewers, the Cardinals, the Twins, the Guardians, the Phillies. But the Blue Jays have too good of a run right now to ignore. They're 8-2 over their last 10 games, and they've won 4 straight series, including teams that were very good until recently, the Phillies and the Twins. The warning sign. Well, they still have a negative run differential for the season, and that often leads to the potential for some win regression. However, if they can start putting up the runs, that should help a little bit. Their hitting star right now, Alejandro Kirk. He's auditioning for the number 2 catcher in the American League behind Cal Raleigh. And their pitching stars, well, Gausman, Barrios, and Bassett, they all have sub-4 ERAs for the season, all have 70-plus strikeouts in less than 80 innings pitched. They are a formidable top 3 of a rotation here. They are on the road versus the Cardinals and the Phillies this week. Those aren't easy, but they're also not impossible to go to keep the momentum rolling for the team. In the Scroll of Wisdom at number 9, the Tampa Bay Rays. I initially had them at number 10 until I saw they're 5-1 against those Blue Jays we just talked about over the past few weeks. In fact, one of the few teams that's been able to handle the Blue Jays. They also have recent series wins against other teams that are kind of knocking on the door or are just in the top 10, the Astros and the Brewers. Their hitting star, Junior Caminero, he is an absolute stud. I was fortunate enough to witness him hit 2 home runs in spring training. You could tell right there. But Jonathan Aranda keeps filling the box score almost every day for the Rays as well, giving them multiple options of places to find hits and runs. Their pitching star, Drew Rasmussen, keeps getting stronger as the season goes on. He's 4-1 with a 1.32 ERA, 27 strikeouts, and a .74 whip over his last 6 games. But they've got some big tests coming up. Let's see how they fare at the Red Sox and at my New York Mets this week. If they can go 3-3 or better this week, then we will definitely be talking a little bit more about them. In the Scroll of Wisdom at number 8, the San Francisco Giants. I guess I have to put this team in the top 10, but they really annoy me so much. They're such a streaky team. However, I'm very thankful that they used one of their winning streaks to sweep the Braves this weekend. 5 wins in a row is the best in Major League Baseball at the moment. Their hitting star, well, Matt Chapman, is dominating over the past 2 weeks, including Saturday's walk-off home run. And over that span, he has a .354 average. Their pitching stars, Landon Roop and Robbie Ray, are 5-2 with a sub-2 ERA combined over their last 11 starts. And so it's a nice 1-2 punch. They get to tee off against the Rockies for the first part of the week before they have a true test at the Dodgers next weekend. In the Scroll of Wisdom at number 7, the San Diego Padres. I was just about ready. I really wanted to move the Brewers into this slot, but the Padres managed to take 2 out of the 3 from the Brew Crew, and that kind of kept them out. They have not lost a series since mid-May, and they're a more consistent team than the Giants. Their hitting stars, well, Fernando Tatis Jr. leads the team in home runs for the season, but Manny Machado was a scorching .393 this week with a 1166 OPS. Their pitching stars, Dylan Cease is their strikeout king, but his ERA is kind of high. Meanwhile, Stephen Kolek is quietly putting up solid numbers, and Robert Suarez has only given up an earned run or more in just 2 of his 29 appearances this year. In one game where he gave up 1 earned run, one game where he gave up 5 earned runs, and that's it. Other than that, no earned runs allowed. 7 of their next 10 games are against the Dodgers. So I speak for all Mets fans when I say, go get them, Padres. In the scroll of wisdom at number 6, the Houston Astros. They won both their series this week, including taking 2 out of 3 from the Guardians. They have opened up a 2.5 game lead in this division that was seemingly run by the Mariners for the first 2 months, but they have taken advantage of the Mariners' recent slump. Their hitting star is Jeremy Pena. He is looking to get back to the production that he had of his rookie season and is absolutely mashing right now, hitting almost 400 over the last 2 weeks. Their pitching star, well, Josh Hader has 17 saves with a .077, 77 batting average against this season. And Hunter Brown should be an all-star starter conversation. He's 8-3 with a 1.82 ERA and 93 strikeouts in just 79 innings so far this season. Their next 4 series are the White Sox, the Twins, the Athletics, and the Angels. It's not too scary and a chance to really try to fully take over that AL West and open up a gap. In the scroll of wisdom at number 5, the Chicago Cubs. Look, count me skeptical on this team. Once again, as soon as they face a tough team, they lose the series. Their last 2 tough series, they were separated by about a month, but were against the Mets and the Tigers, and they lost both of them. Their recent winning percentage is good, but look at the teams that they played. It was against teams that they should be beating on a consistent basis. It would be like saying, well, look at the Mets. They just won 3 in a row against the Rockies. Well, yeah, because it's the Rockies. All right. So I think right now that I'm reserving judgment a little bit until I see them play some harder teams, which we'll get to see. Their hitting star is Michael Busch. He's hitting .394 with 11 RBIs over the last 2 weeks. Their pitching star, Jameson Taillon, shut down the Tigers this week, which is super impressive. He's 4-1 over his last 6 starts. They have the slumping Phillies and surging Pirates. Boy, that sounds really weird to say. Anyway, those are the 2 teams they have this week. In the scroll of wisdom at number 4, the New York Yankees. Winning 2 out of 3 from Cleveland was good. Losing 2 out of 3 to Boston at home was embarrassing. Is their pitching starting to betray them? They allowed 27 runs over their last 3 games. Their hitting star, Judge. Of course, Judge. Always Judge. But they need more than that. And Jazz Chisholm is showing signs of stepping up. He's hitting .381 with a 1,058 OPS this past week. Their pitching star, well, despite the rough outing today, Carlos Rodon has been phenomenal over the past month. They catch a slumping Royals team, and then they have a revenge series against the Red Sox next weekend. Before we get to the top 3, just want to give a special shout out and thank you to our patrons, Darren and Byfer. Appreciate you so much for doing this and supporting these videos. So that allows me to bring them to all of you. If you want to help support these videos and support this channel so I can bring more and hopefully better videos to you, you can click the link down below to patreon.com/metropolitans. You get behind the scenes perks such as seeing videos like this before they get released to the public. In the scroll of wisdom at number 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers. There is no shame for the Dodgers splitting the 4-game series with the Mets or even losing the season series to the Mets. I mean, it's only a 7-game series and one team has to lose it. However, losing 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals was definitely not how you wanted to see them respond to that. I have a crazy thought for this team. They should maybe consider moving Ohtani out of the leadoff spot to get him more RBI opportunities. Watching him play, and I don't know if it was just how the Mets neutralized him, but there were so many times that he came up with nobody on base. And even when he would hit a home run or have a hit, there were a lot of times that it didn't really do much damage. And maybe moving him slightly lower, say to the 2 or the 3 hole, would give him a few more RBI opportunities. Who knows? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Their hitting star, Ohtani. Of course, Ohtani. Always Ohtani. But when watching the series against the Dodgers, Max Muncy and Andy Pages were some of the best hitters that I saw. And I don't know if they just had a great series against the Mets, but they were very impressive in that series. Their pitching star, Yamamoto, may only be 6-4, but don't let the record fool you. He has 86 strikeouts and 72 innings pitched, a 2.2 ERA, and a 1 WHIP for the season. And Dustin May has been a very solid number 2 starter as of late as well. It is time to start sorting out the National League West this week with series at the Padres and versus the Giants this week. In the scroll of wisdom at number 2, the New York Mets. I know, all y'all Mets fans, you're going to hate me for this, but they're still not number 1 yet. They won the season series versus the Dodgers, and honestly, they were probably their own biggest enemy in their 2 losses against Los Angeles as well. 18 games over 500 ties their best mark that they hit all of last season. They didn't even hit that till last September. Their hitting star, Pete Alonso. He should be in the MVP conversation right now, and if he continues to sustain the pace that he is on, he is Major League Baseball's RBI leader, unless Judge passed him tonight. I don't know. I haven't seen that update. And he added 2 more home runs today. He's hitting over 300 on the season and over 400 this past week. And as a side note, guess who's waking up? Francisco Alvarez. He hit 333 with a home run in his last 5 games this week. Their pitching star, well, it's not really one so much as the Mets pitching lab. The team ERA, including relievers, for the entire season, and again, we're talking into June now, like over 2 months in the season, is 2.85. That's it, 2.85 for all pitchers for the whole season. They have had only one starting pitcher give up more than 4 earned runs in a single game, and that was a minor leaguer who was called up for a spot start. Kodai Senga is the leader among many pitchers who are having great seasons so far. They need to pad their NL East lead this week with matchups against the Nationals and the Rays. In the scroll of wisdom at number 1, once again, barely hanging on, the Detroit Tigers. It does feel a little bit like the hype around the AL Central was a bit overblown. However, I am stubborn and I want to see a team clearly take over the top spot from them. But let's not get too cute here. They have to maintain the level of high quality play no matter who they're playing. And not just against good teams, against the bad teams as well. We're going to give them a pass because of their overall, but losing 2 out of 4 games to the White Sox is just definitely not taking advantage of an opportunity they have. Hitting stars, well, Riley Green brings the average. Spencer Torkelson brings the power. It's a good balance, but they really need a little more consistency from the rest of the lineup, led by Javi Baez as well as some others. Their pitching star, well, Tariq Skubal is once again a Cy Young candidate, but don't let Jack Flaherty's 5-6 record fool you. He is 4-2 with a 2.97 ERA and a .93 WHIP over his last 6 starts. There is no reason this team should struggle over upcoming series against the Orioles, Reds, Pirates, Rays, and Athletics. But there's also no reason they should have struggled with the White Sox, and they did. So we're going to see where they are in the next couple weeks as they have some easier competition. Will they play down to that competition or continue to maintain a high level of excellency? Let me know what I got right and what I got wrong down in the comments below.